So now, Riana, we're talking about the technology that you usually use in your class, or ESP class. What kind of technology that you usually use?
Well, absolutely, we need what's it called internet connection, and also sometimes we use multimedia laboratorium and also mobile phone, the simplest one.
Do you also use the social media?
Yes, because youngsters nowadays are very, crazy about social media. They post their life through social media. They read a lot of social media than reading the news, for example. And I think social media can be a very powerful tools for them to learn ESP.
Okay, how this technology can promote your ESP instructions?
Would you like to rephrase it?
Okay, so somehow how this social media or technology can help you and your students to learn the ESP, especially.
Well, in learning English, we do need a kind of what is that? I forget the name. Authenticity, and something that is authentic can be found. We can find a lot of authentic material through the internet, through the YouTube, for example, through the journal, through the news or article. For example, nursing, in nursing department we have journal of nursing, and it will be very powerful for them to learn English for specific purposes in a very authentic way.
So you can say that they learn in real life, right?
Yes, that's
and
right.
Is it absolutely to be a student center by using the ICT in your classroom?
Yes, because they have the authority to use their mobile phone in the classroom, and they me myself as the facilitator only needs to control them, to what is that? Not control, but to
Only facilitate.
Facilitate them with you can open this website, for example, and then try to analyze the blah blah blah, something like that, and
they can do by their own style, learning style,
yeah.
right? Yes.
We don't need to give so much control on them.
Yes, thank you. So far, I listened to you that you have so many strengths in using the ICT. How about the weaknesses? Do you find any weaknesses also in using ICT? Or can you define to me what are the weakness and the strength using ICT in your ESP class?
Well, talking about ICT. ICT is something like a two-sided knife, right? Or two-sided coin or whatever. It must be any strength and also the weakness. It can be helpful, but sometimes it can be destructive.
Okay.
Sometimes when I feel so much assisted by the use of ICT, because sometimes I do not need a kind of very hard effort to find the material related to nursing or my midwifery, for example. I can find it by only entering the keywords, and then so many sources, so many materials will appear, and it really helpful. But sometimes when you give your students a kind of freedom to access their mobile phone with the full Wi-Fi connection, for example, it's just like they they can access everything, and I cannot control that, because in my classroom usually it consists of 52 students, which means I cannot Okay, see one by one whether they access the correct thing, or I cannot make sure that my students not opening the social media for chatting with their boyfriend or girlfriend, for example. It is very hard for me to control that. But,
Okay. So thank you for those points. Talking about the weaknesses then now, Bu Riana, this is the last questions. So do you have any strategy to overcome the technology misuse in your classes when you use the ICT?
Well, I will choose the ICT. I mean what is that? A software that that may disable the student to access the other thing. So I will limit. I mean, I have, what is that? For example, I cannot control their. Okay, they cannot open YouTube, for example, when I give something, when I give the material for them, and unfortunately, it only can be realized or happen in multimedia laboratory.
I see.
Yes, but if it is happen in the classroom, so it is very hard for me to control them. But if it is happen, I mean, if they have class in the multimedia laboratory, then I can simply control them, and even I can humiliate them when they access something inappropriate or something like that.
Okay. Yes. So thank you for the time for sharing your ESP classroom, Bu Riana, especially for using ICT in your class.
All right, glad to help you.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great night then.
Okay, you too.